Have you ever felt like you didn't like something when it came out, but then started to like it after a while? Congrats, that's called acquired taste, or something growing on you, not literally like your hair, but figuratively. Like some initially ugly BMW designs becoming more light. For example, the M3 when it came out, the G80. The comparisons were insane. Bugs Bunny, this, that, it was wild, but people eventually started liking it. Now, this is important when speaking about cult classics, especially in terms of cars, well, at least most of the time. Because they are normally those under-the-radar vehicles, away from the prying eyes of the normie, away from TikTok users, wannabe influencers, crypto bros, the real enthusiast vehicles, thus the word cult along with the word classic for classic cars. I have been wanting to make this a series for a while because it allows me to speak about the BMW 1M. You see, I, as a proud owner of a Volkswagen, am a Mercedes fan. In fact, Mercedes is my favorite car company, and one of my favorite cars is an AMG. If you look at it just like a regular human being, you'll see a regular car, but clearly you are not normal, I mean regular. So you see something weird about it, right? Let's compare the 1M with a regular 1 Series. See the difference? Exactly, the 1M is orange. The 1M is meaner, but the looks isn't the thing this thing is trying to thing. What I'm saying is this is one of, if not the greatest BMW ever made. Listen to me, this here is the culmination of allowing enthusiasts to build an enthusiast car. The M division of BMW going crazy and being allowed to make what they want to make. The 1M was obviously based on the 1 Series, which if you understand BMW numbers, is an entry-level vehicle. When finances are involved like this, the most logical decision would be to take what's available and not develop new parts entirely. And that is what they did. Rear suspension, differential, and brakes came from the E92 M3, which is already a pretty crazy start. Then they took a Z4 engine. Now, this is an M car, so no M engine per se. It was very, very eyebrow-raising. The 335 horsepower engine was tuned, placed perfectly for a 50-50 weight distribution, limited slip diff, and made into a rear-wheel drive masterpiece that was very rare and now is very sought after. Those who drove it called it the ultimate driving machine. All of those things put together, it sounds amazing. I can't even imagine how it must have felt to drive. I'm so jealous. They currently go for about $68,000 to $90,000, but seriously, this thing became a cult classic for BMW, at least the real BMW enthusiasts, not those surface level people, which of course is fine. But remember, a cult classic is a car that won't roll off every tongue when it comes to great cars. They say America does everything big, so when they were told that it was now the malaise era and fuel was not very available and cars had to be more efficient and meet emission standards and be safer, they just...
What more do you want from me?
Yeah, but not to worry. Our beloved AMC, American Motors Corporation, had a radical idea. The Beetle, also another cult classic by the way, was making strides in the United States of God blessing America. And that obviously is not a good thing. But like I said, the Americans don't really do anything small, so when they were told to make a small car, AMC just said, take this, and gave the Gremlin. Why does it look like that? Well, they kinda sorta just chopped a large car and made it smaller. Obviously there's more engineering behind it, but that's pretty much what happened. Cars like the Hornet were made shorter and boom, you got the Gremlin. They were also, apparently, I don't know about this, made on the same production line. Again, correct me if I'm wrong. But this was perhaps the biggest of the big brain moves that every big brain car company was pulling during the big brain era, also known as the malaise. Aha, but here's the catch. The Gremlin is indeed a cult classic. Because it ain't bad. Actually, it's quite the opposite. They say you can take the America out of the car, but not the car out of America. And what that pretty much means is that you can't actually take the America out of the car, and that was very evident after they slapped a V8 into this thing. Yeah. Now, the 6 cylinders it came with were also good. This is definitely one of the better cars from this era, and the way it drove was also pretty fun according to first-hand accounts. Obviously, when it came out, the average American was disgusted. But that changed soon enough. Horsepower range from like 100 to 150 and more in some other cases, so no slouch, especially for the era. And now look at it, it's a proper cult classic and over 600,000 were sold. Still ranked as one of the ugliest cars at the time. Both of these cars I've mentioned so far are what I'd refer to as positive cult classics. As with pretty much everything in life, where there's a north, there's also a south. Thus, where there's a positive, there's also a negative. This might catch you off guard, but the 911 GT3 and GT3 RS.
Damn!
How are these cult classics, you might be wondering? I can prove it to you now. Go and ask any person you know who is remotely ambitious what car they want to own one day. The GT3 and GT3 RS are literally the first cars these guys will mention, and almost anyone who quote-unquote likes cars but doesn't know enough about cars will also choose these two. But hey, who am I to talk? I choose it too. The reason this has become a cult classic is due to social media, as fundamentally, the car was always a great pick for anyone in the market for something like that. In fact, it was always the pick. But when people hyped it up and it got its internet fame and consequently its notoriety, it became a cult classic for those types of car enthusiasts. I'm still gonna call them enthusiasts, by the way. I used to be at a stage of my life where I truly believed these guys were not people who liked cars and thought of myself as superior because I had more car knowledge. But that is exactly what the car community shouldn't be. Okay, they like it. Alright, it's an easy car to like. At them, it's fine. Be more positive, there's already a crap ton of negativity everywhere. But still, this is not a positive case of a cult classic, which is just hypocritical and ironic in so many ways, but also kind of factual. What can I say? The ironies of life. But what if I told you there's a whole other world out there? You will find big, dedicated communities and blogs to these cars. They're nimble. They're fun. They are Fiat 500s. Again, the whole point of this cult classic video is to invoke the same feeling people got when they first saw these cars, but as time went on, people started to understand said cars. Thus, they became more liked, people enjoyed them more, and realized, hey, these cars are sick, you know, and thus the communities were formed as a result. Now, the 500 is a particularly interesting vehicle, because it has the Italian flamboyance going for it. Listen, regardless of what Italian car you buy, you're gonna find some Italianness and flamboyance with it. Even if it's just a Fiat 500, because the cars are nimble, fun, stylish, cute, and so many things. Look at this commercial. And then there are also a Barth variants that are actually insane performance machines. Power to weight is about 6 kg per horsepower, which is not bad. I mean, 140 horsepower or about 165 and bigger variants seems a bit low, but it's just a ton. The car just weighs 1,000 kilos. I mean, come on, be real with yourself for a second. This thing is hella fun. Not like I've driven it, but I'm just driving my boat around, but you know what I mean. Also, these things break very, very easily, but a small price to pay in the grand scheme of things. Come on now. It looks cool, has nice color options, is fun and easy to drive, easy to park, will come in handy in towns and cities with narrow streets. But this car also has a very interesting con. Although it is a cult classic in the Fiat world for sure, it's also a car that many non-car enthusiasts buy. A friend of mine, Eduardo, his parents bought a brand new 500e. Wonderful for Italian streets, but they're not car enthusiasts, and perhaps I'll try and get him in a future video, but I think he's just gonna crash out for like 10 minutes. But it is also factual. Now, this is by no means a completed video, and for that reason, I'll have a part 2 out eventually. Update on my demonetization, they again gave me the same AI bot responses. These guys have been giving me these AI bot responses for 30 days now. It's actually crazy. If you could take a second and go on my X post and tag them, I'd really appreciate it. Again, thank you all so much for the love and support, and I'll see you soon.